Hey, it's Garrett Brill here. I'm out here with Don Casey tonight, and we're continuing to run the test matrix. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about that by now. It's a 43-point test and evaluation for all UAS that are deemed for public safety, just to see how well they fit the multi-role UAS, how much bang for the buck, what are you getting. So tonight we're going to continue with some other tests, and the one we are going to do now is the flight time test. Now, some people that may be trivial, but the thing is, for public safety, all of these tests are important. The flight time test, obviously, how long can you stay in the air without having to come back? So just a couple things. First thing we're going to say is that all of the aircraft are going to be in OEM configuration, meaning we aren't strapping some extra batteries. We aren't doing anything to it, and that's for all of these tests, because while things can be modified and improved upon, this needs to be to help an agency know what they're getting right from the manufacturer, right? The next thing that you need to know about flight time, and I always get this question by some people whenever they watch these flight time test videos, is, yeah, but if you go and you fly it at 15 miles an hour and so on, so yeah. And while that's true, it's very impractical. The realistic thing is that for the most, we are not going to focus on moving at 15 miles an hour to create aerodynamic body lift from the platform. We usually hover, and that's what we're going to do for consistency, right? The other thing you need to know is we're going to fly these down to 10%. Oh my gosh, 10%, Garrett, you're killing these batteries. Yes, guess what? Sometimes in public safety, you have to push it, and we need to know how much can we get if we fly it to that push level at 10%, because that's realistically what we can get out of it. The other thing you need to know, this is going to be an edited video, and nobody wants to watch this stopwatch run for 20, 30, 40 minutes and fall asleep. Well, maybe some of you do, but I don't. I don't think Don does either. So probably the last thing you know before we get started is you probably want to know the conditions of it. So Don, if you can go ahead.
Yep. So here I use Kitty Hawk because a lot of drone pilots use Kitty Hawk, so that's what we're going to be using. You can see it's 70 degrees out here. We got 2 miles per hour wind with gusts at 3 and 84% humidity.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and prep the Evo up first and get it ready. Okay, so the Autel is out there ready and prepped. I just want to go through this real quick for you. The aircraft battery is showing 99%. We just put it in there, just came off the charger. It's as good as it gets. I guess they don't show absolute 100, but just want to show you that's what it's at. So it's a full battery, and whenever you're ready, Don, go ahead and take off. Okay, start. There we go. Alrighty, so we're gonna let here's the stopwatch. I think you can see it just fine. We're at 15, 16 seconds. We're gonna let this thing just hover, and whenever it gets down to the 10% range, or getting close to 10%, coming in for a landing, we'll go ahead and catch the time on that. So we're getting close to 10%. Don's go ahead and he's gonna bring it down, and it's on the ground. We're going to stop. Okay, so the time for the Autel, the real, no joke flight time for the Autel Evo2 Dual, under the conditions that we showed you in the first part of the video, official time, 28 minutes, 34 seconds. All right, Don, if you'll go ahead and go grab it real quick. We're going to do as part of this test, we're just going to check the battery temp. Battery out of the Autel Evo2 Dual after that flight. Just depends on where I hit it, I guess. We'll call it 105. That's usually where it was. It was kind of the average of it. So anyway, 105 for the battery temp, and 28 minutes and 34 seconds for the actual flight time. All right, well, we were going to do the Mavic next, but the batteries weren't, even though they showed fully charged on the charger, I guess there's some threshold. They were only at 95, but the M210 with the XT2. And again, let me just say one thing about this. I've been catching up people. Why are you flying the M210? It's not even the same class. And you know what? You're absolutely right. Here's the thing. Everybody wanted because of the sensor, everybody wanted to compare the XT2 to the Autel Evo2 Dual. So they wanted the XT2 in this matrix. So, okay, we did it. But the smallest aircraft that can carry the XT2 is the M210, right? Or M200, you know, but it'd be the same results on these things. So anyway, it has to go through all the tests if it can, and it can do the flight time test. So here we go. Everything looks good. Batteries are at 99%. Okay, and we have this stopwatch. And Don, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Take off.
Okay, start.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
All right, and the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and whenever it gets down, we're going to fly the same thing down to 10%, and whenever it gets close, we'll be back. We're at 12%. Don's going to start bringing it down. All right, and it's at 10%, and stop. So go get the battery real quick for a temperature. So there's the time, official time, 20 minutes, and we'll call it 41 seconds. Is how long you get. And again, one thing I want to clarify, a couple of things. Number one, this is with the M210 V1, and these are TB55 batteries, so the bigger batteries. But again, this is all factory OEM, factory stuff. So whatever comes from the factory is what we can use. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take the battery temperature. Some people might want to know why we're even taking the battery temperature. That gives you an idea of what the manufacturer did as far as their design and how much load they're actually putting on the batteries, the kind of cells that they're using inside. The hotter that they get on something like this, generally the lower or the worse off you are. You want these things to be not as hot. Okay, so here we go. I'm getting a 110. 119, 120, 126. 127, 125. Okay, we'll call it 126. So battery temperature of 126 for the M210 flown down to 10%. All right, and again, I'll just reiterate one more time. That was the M210 V1 with TB55 batteries and the XT2 payload only. No other payloads, no other equipment. All right. All right, so the last on the test list, we're going to fly the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual. It's going to be flown for both Mavics because they're the same platform. Again, you know, if it's a sensor test, then we'll fly them both. If it's just something like this, we're just going to fly one. So anyway, we're at the same thing. We're at 99% battery. This one just came off the charger, and it's saying 99%, and everything is good. So we're going to go ahead and put this one up, run the same test, and whenever you're ready, go ahead, Don.
Okay.
Take off.
Ready?
Yep, go.
The home.
Alrighty, and so we're going to let it do the same thing. It'll be in the hover, and whenever we get down to 10%, we'll come back and we'll see what time it gets. All right, so we're just hit 12% on the DJI Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual. Don's going to start bringing it down. You can and stop. All right, oop, stop. So anyway, I let it go for a few other seconds. It was I can go back and look at the tape or whatever, but it was right around 22 minutes. We'll call it 22.8. Why not? But anyway, so we're right at 22 minutes ish on the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual for down to 10%. We actually flew it down to 9, so it gets a little extra bonus there, I guess. But anyway, again, that's real world testing. Don is going to go get the battery. So here we got the battery. Let me go ahead and turn this on. And is my battery swollen? Oh my gosh. Freaking battery's swollen. All right, anyway. If you can see that or not, 114. This is the hottest spot I can feel at 116. Right around 115. We're getting about 115. So about 115 degrees on the Mavic 2 flown down to 10%. And again, the significance of that on the temperatures that you're seeing is it's giving you a little bit of an indication of both cell quality that the manufacturer's using here, longevity, and if the more heat these things are producing, the more that they are going to wear down, degrade, and looking like this one swelled up on us on this test. So unfortunately, anyway, so there it is. One thing that I did want to point out before we end this test is one of the things that Don and I both noticed was the timer, the actual header tape timer that the manufacturers provided in their software to go along with it. The DJI, both of them were inaccurate by a pretty far amount. So they started off, both of them, both the 210 with the XT2 and the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual, both started off somewhere around 30 minutes and telling us that we're going to get a 30-minute flight time. And they were off by 8 to 10 minutes in the end. And that can really cause some challenging. We noticed on the Autel, it seemed to actually be going, instead of some arbitrary number that it was going off of, it seemed to be going off of the user input critical flight time, because whenever it took off and landed, the timing was off only by a small amount. And then we were at near zero whenever it actually said we needed to land, which we had our critically low battery at 10%. So anyway, that was an observation we made. Just kind of wanted to share that with you. So again, it looks like the Evo2 Dual wins this one at 28.5 minutes. Also had the coolest flight pack battery at 105 degrees. The M210 got just under 21 minutes, 20 minutes, 41 seconds. 126 degree battery. And now we have the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual at 22 minutes, just over 22 minutes, and was a 115 degree battery. So anyway, there's the end of this test and how they all lined out.